Hello guys, welcome back. We are jumping in midway through this best of 5 between Clem and ShoWTimE. It is currently tied up 1-1 in the bottom left on Eternal Empire. It is ShoWTimE. In the top right as the red Terran, he is Liquid's Clem. Fantastic pickup for Katowice. Continues to improve. He's certainly living up to the hype. To go up against ShoWTimE would, at one point in Clem's career, be quite the test. And he'd be like, I don't think he's got it. Especially because he's really, like a lot of Terrans, has gotten renowned because of his TvZ. His TvZ is probably still his best. It's actually sometimes flipping amazing. Kind of even flabbergasted. Watch Clem's late game and the amount of actions he can do. And compare it to some of the more calm, patient Terran players that are older than him, and it's just like, it can be quite amazing. But anyways, nowadays, yeah, him versus ShoWTimE is just a good matchup. ShoWTimE sometimes looks a little bit shaky. He has a style of PvT that I really enjoy, but I think can, sometimes be out multitasked, which is, kind of Clem's specialty. I think he has stopped going for the mostly disruptor play and is back into playing High Templar. It's kind of the way PvT in general has been going, weaving in and out of all of those styles of play. And Eternal Empire has been a fantastic fighting grounds for PvT and PvP and PvP anything really. I think I just like Protoss on this map and how late the game can go, and how action-packed PvT and PvP are. Because you know what? I'm going to exclude PvZ because that matchup's kind of stupid. Even without any balance complaints, it's actually just kind of, compared to the other two, it's just not as fun. Simply put. But anyways, PvT, I love it. So very, very well matched. And Clem currently very good at TvP. Sometimes, TvT still considers his worst. Probably still is, just in general, statistics-wise. But TvP's also struggled against some other Protosses, like Geralt recently being a month ago at this point. But anyways, I do think in general he's very good at it. Can't expect him to do perfectly every time. Show better in the main base means that Adept was really going to commit, but the bunker's already done. As I pointed out on the Hero Marine series, yeah, Terran players just produce very safe bunker timings. Adept gets scout, gets out. Nothing to be done here, but the scouting is important because it is going to be a Hellion opener. Unfortunately, what ShoWTimE is doing is not going to get him a great scout for this third CC. Many Hellion openers go into a starport immediately after. Actually, as an example, Hero Marine on this map went for a Hellion opener and then went into a quick second barracks, which is something you would want to know. In this case, Clem has a fast third CC, he is adding on barracks, he is significantly delaying any starport, as he's not going to find much success with it anyways. He could produce a medevac, he could produce a Liberator, he could get a Raven, but that's not the build, that's not what he wants to go for, it's not the direction he is headed towards. The direction he's headed towards is actually a very good amount of bio. And then you get the medevacs, and that's when you push, but you push with a heck of a lot of bio. And you're going to be supercharged because that third CC is going to come down pretty lickety-split. Once you see that your opponent's not 4-gate blink all-inning you, or pressuring you, shall we say, you're good to go, man. If ShoWTimE were 4-gate blinking, it'd be a little bit dangerous right now. Very few units to defend against something like that, but Clem accurately assessing ShoWTimE's playstyle, as well as the meta has actually gone swiftly away from 4-gate being popular. It kind of was like, yeah, you could do it, you can still do it, but it's kind of Parting's thing. Parting's just very good with it and following up with it. So, very accurate assessment here from Clem. Now ShoWTimE knows, even without seeing that third CC, I think seeing the setup of production would have been able to know is a third CC somewhere. Now ShoWTimE has better intel, but unfortunately ShoWTimE didn't get that fast enough to really do anything. Like, maybe, again, some things he could do now that he knows. Maybe another chrono on his probes, I guess. Maybe he gets 2 forges instead of just the 1, but it kind of sucks, because, like, Clem has already reaped the rewards of the third CC. He's already defended it just by it not happening. He's not had to worry about anything ShoWTimE really had to throw at him, and has just quickly gone into bio-medevac production. So it's not even like ShoWTimE has 2 minutes here to invest into something. He's got to live with the choices he's made, and those choices were based around probably Clem more so going for a 2-base push. So kudos to Clem, continuing to write more build orders in his build order book. He's got many pages to flip to. That's going to help him as he continues to do better and better in tournaments. It's going to be because he has that flexibility. Whereas ShoWTimE, I mean, ShoWTimE went through a whole year, it felt like, of just transformation, and he's emerged a more aggressive and more capable of cheese, and good cheese at that, over the past year. But at the end of the day, like, his little caterpillar, his little metapod turned into a caterpie that, like, still looked a lot like a metapod, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're probably better. You are better. And you have more choices, but let's be real. ShoWTimE's still known as the wall. He's still known as the defensive macro player. It is still where he's going to feel most comfortable. So that spiel done, Clem has finally decided to push. Now, he could have pushed with 2 medevacs at 6 minutes, but he is pushing with a lot more, and a tank even. He goes into tank production at 7 minutes. ShoWTimE did see this with the Observer. He has positioned his Colossus and Sentries correctly. He needs to pay attention. Exactly why he has to pay attention. Charge not done, Extend Thermal Lance not done, +1 not done, so many things not done. Even if they were done, that is just not a very big army, so he needed to stop Clem from running up against him. Clem, respectfully, says, alright, I didn't get the jump on you, I'm gonna pull back. He's got fully saturated 3 bases, he doesn't really have to worry about macro. And for now, I would say he doesn't really worry about harassment, but obviously that can change. So he has spotters out in the map. You know, even just a couple of zealots, while crucial to the defense sometimes to the Protoss, can be very annoying to the Terran. Just 2. Early on. No Warp Prism, just literally send them around the map. That can be really annoying. So Clem is really setting up to focus entirely on his push. Crossing his T's, dotting his I's on the defensive, so he can focus entirely on this. Luckily for him, Blink is not an option. Well, I should say Stalkers are not an option, so the medevacs that are out of position do not get taken out. ShoWTimE bringing his Stalkers now forward. I think they were defending against potential drops and also being warped in. Missed an opportunity, maybe. 1 or 2 of these medevacs could have been dead. ShoWTimE's got to deal with just being on the defensive, though. That is some place that he's very comfortable being. So as he does not get his 4th base that quick, he does finally have a good army to engage. Kind of threatens the engagements, but Clem does not take it. Says, okay. There's a prank, bro, it's a prank! But if ShoWTimE were to continue committing, that would have been bad news. Clem has 4th base about done. 2-1 on the way, so he's still going to have the upgrade lead. Actually, I'm going to take that back. With Chronos, let's be real. Protoss is going to catch up. But yeah, more importantly, he has Ghosts and he has Vikings on the way, as they both round out their compositions to the mid to late game section of PvT. We could even see late to supreme late game PvT in this matchup here. Yeah. Talking about Blinky boys, the Blinky DTs, as well as maybe like carriers and stuff. You know, and stuff. It's a good number of Vikings. They were kind of caught there. So let's start to the north. Zealots don't do very much. Clean up on aisle 1, I guess, 'cause it's the first base. They did pull Clem's army out of position, but that's not, I mean, I think ShoWTimE would prefer keeping onto the Warp Prism as opposed to letting it go like that. Oh, well. With both of them almost maxed out, it doesn't really matter that ShoWTimE's 4th base has been this late, quote-unquote. I think it had to be this late anyways, but yeah. Unless that engagement goes very poorly. Oh, God. Oh, no. This is already kind of going poorly. Losing a Colossus. No, not quite. Not focus firing down that weak one. It might just be saved. Ooh. The shield battery is there, too. Oh, that's a pretty big deal. 2 Colossus almost went down. Instead, no Colossus went down. But the army of Clem is still fantastic. The concave, the tank's getting so much free damage. ShoWTimE might have 3 Colossus alive, but he lost so many gateway units on the ground. Oh, that did not look very pretty. Oh, no, it did not. Oh, no! Oh, rip. I don't think Naruto was lagging out before this. ShoWTimE did overcommit, but I think that was his decision. His mistake. Just gotta wait it out. Fortunately, my cats have not stepped on my PC power button in a while. Ah, that was awkward. Disruptor now on cooldown. These two are not, but oh, they both get taken out. Oh, and that's gonna be it. That's game. It was probably already game before that. Very unfortunate timing on the disconnects. Makes it look a little suspicious. But I think ShoWTimE would say that he was already screwed. He had already lost so many units, and he was going to lose his 4th Nexus. It's different if he just abandoned ship. We didn't. Clem's macro. Right, Zig? Right? Clem's macro. Right? He's a good work kitten. Good work kitten. Golden Wall could be our last map. The winner of this goes on to face Hero Marine. And these guys are just farming the EPT Open Cups. ShoWTimE, Clem, and Hero Marine. Those are the names that stick out for me when it comes to these cups. A couple other guys get up there. They get into the top 4, top 2, but it's always these guys. Why is it always these 3? In the bottom left of Golden Wall, it is the blue Protoss ShoWTimE for Team Big, I believe. The bottom right as the red Tyrion, he is Liquid's Clem. Showcasing his macro. Goes for the 3cc build. I think ShoWTimE was a little sad he didn't get his faster scout on that. And then also follows up that 3cc build with excellent control. He could have engaged prior to that final battle. There's a couple opportunities, but I think he was showcasing his patience. Well, this isn't even my real form anyways, so I'm just gonna leave. Clem's gonna be a beast, man. These youngins. God. What are we even gonna do? How are us boomers going to compete with the zoomers? I don't understand. I guess to clarify, when I said suspicious, I don't mean like he intentionally did it. As someone points out that he's German. No. I meant that it's suspicious as in people might point to that as being the reason ShoWTimE lost. No. ShoWTimE, as I said, I think he would say he was already in bad place. He was already going to be screwed. It just looks really bad. It just looks like that's what caused him to lose. Which you don't want to be blamed for. Huh. Okay, pretty fast bunker. ShoWTimE did go for the shield battery in the main adept pressure last game, and perhaps even the game before that, so once again doing the same thing. Clem is not going to play around. As we saw in last game, like the adept can still bounce around behind the mineral lines and stop SCVs from mining, but as long as your CC is done, transforming into an orbital, and you have any units, alive, that are getting picked off one by one, then you're going to be fine. Clem was waiting for the adept, so he's going to try and buy time with the Reaper. Grenade, shots, what have you. This is what he chooses to do, assuming that whatever follows the adept up is actually not that scary. Because what is he not getting? He's not getting any scouting. And that should be scary. That would be scary to any of us plebs, because we're facing some rando guy on ladder who can do literally anything, including terrible builds that don't make any sense. For this matchup, he knows ShoWTimE. He knows what typically follows this type of aggression up. He knows ShoWTimE. I said it twice because I meant to emphasize it twice. Like, the chances of ShoWTimE actually having a proxy gateway Stargate or some shit, whatever, very, very low. So the Reaper gets a later scout, but it still gets to scout that at once, which is 2 bases, building probes, 2 gateways. No fourth gateway quite yet. If there even will be. And the Reaper finally dies. But, you know what did miss? I don't think it's missing the, 4th gateway so much, because it's not a 4th gateway, but it did miss the gases and the natural, which kind of suck. If it's only a 3rd gas, or it is continuously not any extra gases, it's going to give you more indications. It's more of a gateway build. A little out of the, meta, I guess. A little out of style to go for just the 3 gas mass charge blink stalker builds. We see a lot more of what ShoWTimE is doing right now, which is getting those gases, getting into a robo nowadays. But it would be nice for Clem to scout that. Talking about what ShoWTimE is doing, what has Clem been doing? So Clem got all the scouting, he defended the adept. Did not go for a 3rd CC this game. He got a 2nd gas pretty early on. And has gone for what looks like it was a 2-1-1. So adding on that 3rd barracks now. And the Observer of ShoWTimE just got a full scout. Maybe Clem saw the Observer, but, realized they didn't have a scan. Oh, you definitely saw the Observer. I'm just waiting for a scan of the natural. Thank you, Jay the Ninja, for the 17-month resub. Double drop of Widow Mines in a very awkward timing, so ShoWTimE's not going to be quite prepared. Wow, that's actually... It's kind of like what Hero Marine did, I think. Where he held off on building from the reactor with the Starport. But anyways, almost a minute later than most Widow Mine drops. So, ShoWTimE was paying attention, luckily for him. Only loses 2 probes, but is not going to be able to take out that medevac. He's got nothing else really going on for him. He's just waiting for the push from Clem that he knows will be on the way. He got full intel on what the build was. He is missing the actual push out, but this observer is going to see it so he can get into position. Clem's gonna get a third CC on location behind this. +1's not done, Marauder Slow's not done, but ShoWTimE's also missing some ingredients to his army. A lot of respect between the Protoss and the Terran when it's an army like this. it's so small, it's so tempting to just all jump on top of it, but Clem's figuring ShoWTimE's force fields will be good enough. It's gonna reposition somewhere. Still gonna have a decent concave. Gonna find a pylon. Upgrades do finish. Clem might want to go for it. Concave's still good. How about those force fields? Shield battery's also prepared. Really necessary to get that shield battery when you go for the style. If you guys are copying this build and you're like, I keep dying to these pushes. Well, shield battery literally has been the difference of life or death in many pro games with this stuff. Ooh, a drop in the main base. ShoWTimE just doesn't have enough units to really spread apart. Stalkers were dealing with a Wood of Mine drop in the natural, so now they move to the top, but the drop is already being unloaded, so the Stalkers aren't really that great. A single Colossus has been recalled, leaving only one Colossus back over here. The overcharge, oh, not used, but the shield battery barely saved the Colossus' life, and my god, that was very, very close. Medevac comes into the natural and the main. Okay. Cleans up the main pretty much entirely. Medevac in the natural gets to pick up the Wood of Mines again. 12 probes go down, but he saves both Colossus. And a decent amount of army. I don't think much army died there. Yeah, it looks like it was mostly Zealots. So, that could have been so much worse. So much worse. I really thought this Colossus was going to be dead. +1's finally going to finish for ShoWTimE. Clem's already working on his second armor, already saturated his third CC, close to it. ShoWTimE is now comfortably on full saturation, 3 bases, so he doesn't have to continue committing minerals into those probes. What he needs to do is get another... I would say another Colossus? Did you get one? Okay, he did get one. Okay. So 3 Colossus, a little bit better about his splash. Trying to get to Templar Archives. Medevac is still... God, that's so annoying. It's keeping Stalkers back. They're not trying to roam around the map and pick off the attacking units. They're just forced to sit back and wait. Ugh. A couple of these Medevacs in the front lines. In a different world, could have been picked off. Looks like Storm Drops might be on the menu. Not soon, though. Storm has not started, but a Warp Prism is on the way. Lots of Archons going to be formed. Not much tag defense back on Clem's side of the map. So, a single Viking would help. It does not stop a Warp Prism. That might be what ShoWTimE's thinking of. Oh, supply blocked. Oopsie. I think he had a pylon on the top left that Clem just killed. Good scouting Marine left over in case that is where the 4th base would come down. Golden Wall gets a little bit complicated. Don't play many PVTs in this matchup. That's a decent scan. That was a question mark if they're taking the bottom. He saves the probe in the Warp Prism. Or... Yeah, no, he saved the probe in the Warp Prism. It was like either that or he's going to lift over the minerals. But yeah, he just saved it. That's cute. That's fun. 4th base at the gold. Ooh, he's going to find the army, and Clem is not paying attention. He tries to sim away, but now the Blink Stalkers and try and take out some of these Medevacs. Not a whole lot of Blink Stalkers, however, so... opportunity not really there, and he just lost the Warp Prism. Kind of went through the middle of the map as opposed to anywhere a little bit sneakier. So that's 275 minerals down the drain. At least he isn't using his Robo for much more production. I mean, a couple of Mortals never hurts, but yeah, he's got his 3 Colossus, and he doesn't seem to be interested in going into Disruptors. Chrono's out. Was that +1 armor just finished, but doesn't have any more upgrades on the way, where Clem already about a third of the way into his 2-2. And 4th base is about to be finished up. The army supply is currently in favor of ShoWTimE, so maybe he can make something work right here, right now. Clem does not have EMP Shockwaves, but he has like 6 Ghosts. Now a Disruptor is on the way, but look at the army. The army sizes are insane. Where is Clem's army? Here it is. The EMPs do hit the Protoss, but there is just literally so much Protoss without the shockwaves, it still looks like a very beefy Protoss army, very beefy Archon army. Yay. More Stalkers have been warped in to try and combat the Vikings. Good Blink forward gets 2 of them pretty quickly. I was forced to retreat back. This wasn't really the ideal engagement he was hoping for. No concave available means that it's actually very awkward to sit and fight. He's got to continue kiting back, stinning back. And all that while, the medevacs were not healing him, so they got to get back on their jobs. Vikings are on the way. Good scan to reveal the observers. Going to take that out of the equation. At least make ShoWTimE a little more in the dark, but I think he already knows what he wants to do. He's going to go into that natural. Disruptor's going to hide on that high ground as well. Ooh, this sneaky boy. It's going to be revealed, and Clem does now finally have the concave he wanted this entire time. Big concave, too, with the army from the right side coming down as well. Colossus actually attacking a single Marauder are not being very helpful, but ShoWTimE supply at the end of the day is absolutely conquering Clem's. This is ShoWTimE's game. This is ShoWTimE's game. Pretty sure 40 SCVs went down. Even if ShoWTimE doesn't win right here, he is in such a good position. Okay, well, Clem does hold on, but the army supplies are actually even. If this was Clem at 80, army supply to 40, and he just goes, you know, fuck it, blitzes across the map, there's a maybe. But it is even, and Clem is down a good 40 workers. Oh boy. I don't know about that guy. I don't know about that. Clem doesn't want to give up because he knows he has 4 bases. He could quadruple SCV production, try and bring himself back in this game. He could still have 3 mules if he wasn't using the scan and try and take good engagements. And I think even he has the upgrade lead, right? Yeah, there's a couple of reasons why he doesn't tap out right here. But he is dead. I mean, ShoWTimE maybe was a little committed to that. His 4th base was not very fast, only recently getting fully saturated with the gas finishing up. His upgrades were not 100% invested into, so only just now getting a +2 armor. ShoWTimE sacrificed a few things to do that attack, and if he had only gotten 20 SCVs, then I'm like, okay, hold on. This could happen, but he got 40 SCVs, like, ugh. Not that upgrades were on the way, but he also just took out the engineering bay. Clem down 20 army supplies, also going to need the help of some EMPs. Well, now he has Shockwave, so it could happen. I think he just did an evaluation scan. He saw 4th base mining, and he's like, oh, it doesn't feel so good. A couple of Vikings trying to get some probe damage down. Aren't doing a bad job of that, but the War Prism's still not taken out. Vikings might have been better over here. Although, seriously, 13, 14 probes? Hot diggity damn. Vikings, man. Jeez. Vikings. But some serious equalizing damage will be down with the Zealots, not because of killing SCVs, but because they are distracting much of the reinforcements of Clem. Oh my god, the Disruptors looking for that kill shot to make this game super easy have not yet found it. So they've gotten a handful of Marauders here and there, but they haven't found that one shot that just makes Clem instantly tap out. But, oh man. This is some serious revenge for the medevac earlier on. That War Prism's still not dead, even saving some of the Zealots that were warped in. And now ShoWTimE on Double Forge is going to definitely get ahead in upgrades. Clem going to go for the big old boost. This ain't TvT, though. I don't know how much a Doom drop's really going to keep you in this game. Scan is not correct. That's actually not where ShoWTimE is taking his 5th base. But he is taking a 5th base. Oh, God. ShoWTimE doesn't see it. But Clem's going to take a bit of the safer option, just go for a bunch of free probes. But this is now awkward, because he has to pick up again to get anywhere he wants to go. And now he's got half his army back at home against ShoWTimE's full army. And half of his army killing a Nexus slowly, because not all of it is shooting at once. I mean, if ShoWTimE doesn't defend his main base, that could be the next target. And so far, ShoWTimE's not defending the main base. Clem's going to lift up his 3rd, try and save as many SCVs as he can. 4th base is a planetary, so ShoWTimE's not going to bother trying to bust that down, although he certainly could. And there's that Doom drop into the main base. Yeah, ShoWTimE didn't bother warping anything in for this. This is the only way things get complicated. I felt like Clem was giving him such a, hey, by the way, I'm going to drop your main warning sign. Recall was used, brought back a handful of Disruptors. Actually, all the Disruptors. Oh my god, all the Disruptors. The planetary barely not going down. He's going to focus a lot onto it. It does go down. But maybe Clem can take a decent army fight with whatever's left over. Getting all of the Disruptors back home might not have been the best plan, but it's still a good enough plan. It was so... I was surprisingly close to saving that planetary. If there was more of an SCV surround on it... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. He's still on 3 bases? No, he's on 2. At some point, I did not recognize he had lost his natural command center. That's my bad. That's my B. Oh, God. So Clem's at the equal army supply, but now down an upgrade against how many disruptors? 8 disruptors. Really like that count. And the Doom drop into the main ain't gonna work out as much. ShoWTimE has plenty of reinforcements, so even though his Stalkers get destroyed and his DTs get revealed, oh, he's not gonna actually clean up the main base as fast as they thought it was. That was all of his production, and now going after the pylons, he's not gonna have any gateways left over. Clem trying to make some magic work here. I mean, kudos. But now he knows he has to deal with not just Zealot run-bys, but DT run-bys as well, and he's only on 2 orbitals. Scans are gonna run out. Mules are not gonna be even existing in this game to make up for the 15 workers that he has, and there they go. Bowling for strikes. Don't find anything so far. In fact, don't find anything so far. Oh my god. Focus fires down that last disruptor. The other 2 still miss. That is all of the disruptors now gone, and Clem somehow actually takes the engagement. Oh my god. No, he cannot win this game. No. No, that's not gonna happen. No possible way. Oh, the EMP on top of the DT and the Zealots, but I think it might just be too much Protoss on that side. But the Terran army to the north, I mean, good god, kudos to the control there. If Clem had any mining, I'd be like, oh, the comeback is real. But he's down to 1 base mining with 10 workers and no mules. The comeback is not going to happen. It's not. It's just not, but... this kid's control, damn it. His adventurous, courageous spirit, combined with his control... is just so cool to see. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a fantasy GG timing. I do agree, but you know, fantasy usually would just do a Doom drop and then lift his orbitals. Clem at least has some sick control to show us. He's going out with a bang, man. He's going out with a goddamn bang. Oh no, another one. Okay, finally a disruptor hits. And that's going to be that. Clem at half the army supply could now be killed by the remaining Zealots and Stalkers. GG. Game number 5 coming up. Clem is pretty good. Pillars of Gold will be our last map. Winner of this is going to face Hero Marine. So either another PVT or a lovely TVT. It's going to be continued here. All tied up 2-2. In the bottom left of Pillars of Gold, he is ShoWTimE. In the top right, it's Clem showing us the moves. Da moves. That was pretty sick. That's never a situation he wants to be in. And I'm not just talking about being down 60 workers. I mean, you never want to be up against 8 disruptors with only bio. Like, maybe 1 EMP with that portion of the army. You want to have, you know, a couple liberators, or maybe tanks have really become, you know, the new kind of answer to it. And you don't really be forced into the fights with only one avenue of attack, right? You want to split them around, pull them around, get a huge concave, and not really have to split so much as you have to just slightly pull back a portion of your army. That's the dream against 8 disruptors and liberators. But Clem was forced into that uncomfortable position where he's like, well, I got the drop in the main, got an attack on the 4th base, I gotta just commit to what I got at the 4th base. There's no retreating here. I gotta do something. And that's something was impressive, but not impressive enough to win the game. And now Clem's like, to hell with this. Gonna proxy a starport. I mean, you wouldn't bring your SCV out that fast if you're proxying a starport. Proxying a factory? He is getting a command center. This isn't a 1-base build, but... Okay, he's proxying the factory. So, what does he get out of this factory is the question. We're very used to proxy starports. Well, that's awkward. Well, the SCV should be able to finish the factory, even without dance magic. Yeah. Still good, but... Hellions... Was that actually his original plan? I mean, maybe he was also going to proxy a starport. But... Maybe he's going to add a tech lab? I want to say he was just going to proxy, like, Hellions and run in, but... Because then it doesn't look like a Hellion opener, because the Adept sees a barracks and goes, oh, there's no factory producing Hellions, or more than one Hellion, and actually there is, it's just producing on the other side of the map, but... Whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's not happening this game. It just transfers over into kind of a 2-1-1. The factory would be used to add add-ons, so it's like not the worst thing to have lifted and not doing very much. Provided a single Hellion to try and get some scouting, you know, and that can sometimes be what the factory is used for. It's usually builds a wood mine, or build a tech lab, or builds a reactor. Like, it kind of sucks. Clem's not happy that it was found so easily. But it was so non-committal that it doesn't truly matter. It's not gonna break the game. And ShoWTimE gets a very strong start. You see that proxy factory after a command center, you kind of know, like, well, I've just taken away all of your options of being aggressive until a more typical medevac attack, so let's just, you know, do whatever I want until that time. So 6 minutes, 6.5. Lucid Phoenix gets to see the reactor on the starport, and that's kind of the, that's the scary point, right? Most Terrans, especially amongst the pros, aren't going to have a reactor to build medevacs until they're prepared to push with a stim finishing up. With stim or combat shield finishing up, so... It's actually gonna hit... more like a 530. Clem is urgently pushing across the map. And ShoWTimE, having identified this, because he's smarter than I am, is already on top of it. Nothing else to really worry about also helps. No medevac, no Raven is stuck in the corner, looking to do some damage. A single Hellion is going to try and prove me wrong, but I don't think it will. So he gets to clean off a couple of Marauders, maybe? A couple of Marines? Something along those lines. And at least stall out the push a little bit more so that he has another warp in. His gateways are finishing, his charge is finishing. Hello. I don't see any forges. Okay, this could be interesting, but so far, it's more about this bio attack. Grabs one stalker. See, without any forges, this could be an all-in. I don't see a warp prism on the way, though. Did I miss it? No. So, a very fast fourth, then? No. More gateways. I mean, so it's very committed to just plain old units right now. This could have been a warp prism attack, kind of like, you know, remember Zaun? He kind of got a little temporary famous boosts to his name when he was killing a couple of Terrans in like a couple of good tournaments. And it was because he was doing this build, which was really, really difficult to scout because it literally was just like, oh, I don't get... honestly, I don't even think he got a third gas. So it's like, can you scout my gases? How hard is that for you to do? Can you scout my lack of forges? How hard is that to do? Pretty hard to both. And the downside is that he had no forges and no tech transition. But while ShoWTimE prioritized army a lot here, he is not doing that all in. But that is something he is entirely disregarding. Good blink on top of the tank, only gets a couple of shots. WoodMine gets a decent shot. But plenty of Guardian Shields, plenty of units to work with, and there is the Warp Prism. Not so much for being aggressive with the army, but for going for those storm drops. Storms don't care about upgrades. I still say the Zealots would want +1 armor, though, so we do have double forge even on the way now, but that's kind of playing catch-up a little bit there. I think he was... I want to say that ShoWTimE wanted a bit more of a bop. He wanted Clem to commit a little bit more so he could totally envelop him. But Clem never committed. And now, you know, because he didn't commit, he has so much army, it's actually still in favor of Clem. Armor supply is better for him, +1's already done. ShoWTimE is going to have Storm, but not quite yet. That's supposed to be the real kicker. At this point, 8 minutes, he wants the Storm. He wants the Storm. Clem knows. Clem knows. Gonna drag him back into the WoodMine field and away from the storms, hopefully, but that Warp Prism's pretty speedy. It's going after it. Plenty of Zealots just got bopped. Good split, try and take down the Warp Prism. Clem's micro is pretty darn good, but ShoWTimE, ditto. Saves the Warp Prism, saves the world, saves the army, and now has plenty of energy on those High Templar, looking for the kill. He's gonna wrap around as there was really no escape for Clem, and ooh, not paying attention for 1 second means that the storms hit the heart of the army. They were always going to hit something, but they absolutely hit the army. Every unit got injured there. Makes the Zealots' jobs a lot easier. Single WoodMine going to try and stop the flood. Oh, God. ShoWTimE doesn't want to get that injured, the Warp Prism. Doesn't die to one WoodMine, but it gets really, really low on one WoodMine. And then it's easier for Clem to target that down, especially because he's getting Vikings. He is getting 2 Vikings specifically to take care of the Warp Prism. There's not much else you can do against it. You can try and predict with EMPs if you had EMPs, which he does not. But even that, it's very difficult to do. Medevac response. Would have been scary if ShoWTimE's army was still hanging around here, but it looks like Clem was fairly confident it wasn't. Plus he has a tank to help out. Warp Prism, actually not going to be able to evacuate. Oh no, oh no. It eventually gets out of the way of the Viking. It's slightly faster, but that Viking had at least 1 more shot, if not 2 more shots, really. And ShoWTimE just simply wasn't paying attention to at least drop the High Templar, as he was dealing with some Liberator harassment. Now, ShoWTimE has caught up in upgrades. He did deal with that push on his 3rd. It was a bit scary, but... now we go into what looks to be more of a normal game where the Protoss player has double pump forges with Chrono. Clem goes to a 4th base with Ghosts on the way. Like, this looks totally normal. So we forget what happened in the early game, that proxy factory, the upgrade list charge lots. And this could be a very good engagement. EMP still not here, but a good concave and good splits. High Templars both low. He's forced to use some of his last storms on a handful of Marauders that don't even die. And where are the storms? Where's the rest of them? There are some. There's 3 of them in the back lines. Picks them up. ShoWTimE always got some reserve. High Templars. He's too good not to. The Zealots are pushed back by some reinforcements. Oh, a very good storm there. Medevac should be on overtime trying to heal this army back up. Clem's no longer... Oh, even if he had EMP that one High Templar, so many of them are still in the War Prism. Clem is no longer paying attention to at home. Okay, that's enough, that's enough. Disruptor! Gonna get 3 Marauders. That's a pretty good Disruptor hits. The Liberators providing a new challenge here. It looks like ShoWTimE's gonna go for the bust. He blinks forward to take care of the Liberators. The tank's still getting a lot of shots, but the High Templars haven't even gotten into play yet. And there's the Storms to really push back the bio. Clem is keeping an okay army supply, but it's not over quite yet. Okay, now it's over. Clem's army supply takes a hit, but so does ShoWTimE. I think when it looks like this, we gotta reevaluate the economy. So 4 bases to 4 bases, but Clem not quite mining off his 4th. And that's not a planetary, so that's gonna be a continued point of pressure. Very easy for ShoWTimE to get SCVs killed with either Zealots or DTs. Super easy. It's a greedy thing that Terrans seem to be pushing. I think we saw Marine do this as well, but oof, I can't imagine doing that. How many expensive units do they have left over behind it? A couple of the Disruptors survived. Not many High Templars survived, but the Disruptors survived, the Immortals survived. I think even Sentry survived. Whereas Clem, he got away with, like, how much army supply, but it was all bio. He lost all of his Medevacs, and he lost all of his Liberators, so I feel like that went better for ShoWTimE. He has a slight army supply lead, slight overall supply lead to kind of show it. So I think that went better for ShoWTimE, but no one's dead. Liberators doubling up to do some serious harassment. Not going to split up. Scan revealed ShoWTimE's 5th base not being done, so that helps a little bit. It feels a little bit better. Dark Templars are on the way alongside some Colossus. ShoWTimE rounding out his composition for some inconsistent and consistent damage. You don't want to over-rely on the Disruptors, and you don't want to over-rely on the Storms. You don't want to over-rely on the Colossus. It's all better when it's all a stew, okay? No one likes zucchini and okra by itself. But you put it in, like, a jambalaya or something, then it's pretty damn good. Bowling for tanks. Bowling. Doesn't lose any Disruptors. One very weak. Uh-oh. Clem with the collapse. Clem actually has so much army. He's down in upgrades, but where's the splash from ShoWTimE? His Disruptors do not get very good hits. The Storms ended up being fantastic, but they were very, very late. His Disruptors didn't get many hits. The Colossus didn't even attack because they were too busy retreating. ShoWTimE just did not think Clem was going to attack him up that ramp on that high ground. And Clem was like, actually, I can. I have that much army. My economy was okay after that engagement. And ShoWTimE is forced to retreat and kind of lick his wounds a little bit. I think he just didn't... He really thought he was going to be the commanding presence there. And Clem was like, no, go away. The Liberator's still being a bother? Are you serious? So many units are back here trying to take care of that. Including Zealots, which doesn't make any sense. There we go. Finally moves into the Stalkers and take care of things. Gets 2 Stalkers? And he controlled that too. He microed that. Shit. Clem, Jesus. +3 armor is about done for ShoWTimE. Still waiting on the attack, but it will give him an upgrade lead. Disruptor is going to try and hit the heart of the army. Doesn't really find it. Clem's too fast, too furious. A couple of free Vikings, though, or partially free Vikings. Disruptor, unfortunately, going to die. Partially covered by a buddy. This one trying to be covered as well, but Roger Slow, a little too powerful there. A little too good. Only a single Colossus left after that last engagement. 2, I'd feel a little more confident, but 1, not a whole lot of damage. Clem's got a couple of tanks, got a couple of EMPs, and is splitting into the Disruptors once again. ShoWTimE down in supply, but trying to push through is not looking like he's going to be able to do it. He needs more Zealots. He needs more splash. He needs to take care of that tank. He finally does, and that army is too low for Clem to stick around. A couple of storms would have been a disaster for him, but that was a good fight for Clem as he continues to expand as well. He's got that 5th base up. He's got a 6th, 7th, 8th. What is the positioning right here of the engineering bay? Whatever. I guess it works. Is that like a partial wall? Is that what he's trying to... Whoa, wait a minute. We're like disregarding the whole it's an engineering bay and armory. Is he like creating chokes to defend against zealot run bys? Is that a purpose? I feel like I'm giving Clem too much credit. It was probably just like a, you know, F it, I don't know where to put this, but... Oh. That's kind of cool. Anyways. ShoWTimE does have his own 5th base, you know, secure, and it's been mining for a while. You can replace any slightly bad engagements, and that's... The last one was only slightly worse for him. And he's also got the bottom right, so both of them really living up to the Game 5 standard that we were hoping for. Good feedback, taking out an EMP out of the equation. Still don't know about the robo numbers. As long as ShoWTimE always has backup storms, I guess I'm feeling okay. I know people are going to bring up that, like, oh, X vegetable is actually pretty good. It's just a joke, guys. I like vegetables. I like zucchinis. I like fried okra. Kind of. Not really. But I do like zucchinis, but... Stop tearing apart my analogy. That's a lot of DTs. That's some DT zealot harassment, I tell you what. Bunker and tank were there to protect that orbital, but oh, were they there? Did they ever truly exist? I don't think they did. And while he attacks to the left, ShoWTimE also attacks to the right. He knows what to do. He knows how to play this game. So many SCVs go down. As Clem also loses control of his top left base. And thus also loses control of his middle left base. Also loses an orbital. ShoWTimE actually just absolutely wrecking face with this 1-2 punch. Clem was not prepared. He was on the cusp of getting to his planetaries, of getting up his defenses, of reacting to his sensor tower, revealing where the army was. He was just about there, and then suddenly, right before he was ready to go, everything happened. Suddenly, the ShoWTimE nation attacked with DTs and big ol' armies, and Clem is not doing so hot. Not doing so hot. He's not focusing on the command center because he has to focus on the engagement he sees with the sensor tower that he needs to get a big ol' surround. He's trying to. The left side's going to be forced to retreat back into maybe the right side, but Clem, no, just mistiming this severely. Is so much army on the backside. Could have had a couple high Templars not being paid attention to, and the recall happens because it was just too long of a journey for those bio units. Too long. They just took too long. It would have been a 6th round. And instead... ShoWTimE just simply recalls out. He took down 2 command centers on the left side, an orbital on the right, and a planetary on the right. He took down 4 bases. He's trying to work on 5 bases, and Clem needs to take a hell of an engagement and then worry about recovering his economy. Things are a little bit desperate right now for the Terran, but he does have a very good army. He's got good concave potentials as well. Plenty of ghosts, plenty of medevacs, although they are very, very dry. And now he knows what the army is, so he's going to try and outrun it, put it into an uncomfortable position. It's got to come down a ramp, come down a choke into the awaiting Terran army. And ShoWTimE also doesn't have any harassment going on, so Clem is entirely focused on this. And we know what he can do when he's entirely focused on an engagement. Picks up against the Disruptor on the left side. On the right side, EMPs coming down on mostly Stalkers. I don't think Clem actually has enough, even though the armor supplies weren't that bad. This is just way too much Protoss, and Clem is going to be torn apart. That is going to be it. It's going to be another PVT in the finals. Here, Marine versus ShoWTimE. Finding out who gets the big bucks and who gets the little pointy points.